one further thing I wanted to quickly check out regarding the TCG is the new Odion deck has topped a regional. Let me quickly grab that for you. It is on Galzo's channel, and I did want to give that a quick watch because I've been wanting to. I actually have I have the cards here, and I did want to make a deck profile for it on how I was gonna like try and build it, but they did beat me to it, and they already topped the regional with it. I was gonna go to locals with it yesterday, and then they canceled my locals because the store owner was sick, so that was unfortunate. But here we are. Let's go ahead and check out the first in the world Odion regional top. Why is there no audio? Oh.
Today we got an absolute treat for you because we think this is probably the first Odion top in the world. Congratulations. What is your name and what did you do today?
Hi, I'm Hadar Marom, and I got 7th place at the regional with Odion's, Odion's endless trap strategy.
Insane. Okay, show us the group. Congratulations.
All right. Well, we'll start with the list, and then I'll talk about the combo that I came up with. So, of course, we play as many starters as possible. We play, 3 Man with the Mark.
Man.
3 Anubis. The Last Judge. We also play 3 Treasures of the Kings. And to round out our starters, we play Terraforming, 2 Small World, which any hand trap can get you to either Anubis or the Man with the Mark. So you can start your combos, and we play 1 Pot of Prosperity for safety.
Good.
For the rest of the Odion engine, I played 1 Merciless Scorpion of Circuit. This is I felt in the combo, a really important extender. It's usually what gets you to Temple of the Kings, because Man with the Mark wants to search the field spell. If you already have the field spell, you might want to search Temple of the Kings with Man, but it's also better to search Verdict of Anubis a lot of times, which is another card we play.
Tell the people at home what Verdict of Anubis does, because this card, it's kind of crazy.
So, Verdict of Anubis says that when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, while I have 3 or more other spells or traps, I can negate it, the activation, and then if I control Temple of the Kings, I can just Raigeki their board and deal half the total attack to them as damage.
How many times did you resolve this card today?
I lost count, but this card was game determinative a lot of times.
Insane.
The crazy thing about this card is that because people all the time know you have it, they will funnel themselves away from playing into it until they don't have a choice, and when they don't have a choice, you flip it and you win the game.
Crazy, love it.
We also play 2 Temple of the Kings.
2?
I was on a 1 for a long time in testing, and I eventually decided to play 2. There's multiple reasons. The main one is I know this local has a lot of Kashtira players, and they didn't want Riseheart sniping my only copy.
I generally don't think that 2 of that is the right call for this kind of deck. But if it's like I'm adapting to my local metagame, then that's fair enough.
But also people will who catch on to what you're doing.
Because like the thing with this card is I think you only have a problem if it gets banished, because you can recycle it from the graveyard relatively easily. But I also don't think that's even that relevant right now, because if you ever get to the point where this deck sets up with the Temple of the Kings, you're probably fine regardless. But if it's like a meta call because they got like a bunch of Kashtira players, then it's fair enough.
We'll try to SP this card away, and having a second one in the pocket is really good. Plus, opening it isn't bad. It means you don't need to waste a search on it. You can search Verdict of Anubis instead.
If you can play, and if there's no Ryzeal Detonator and you're going second, of course. Like generally, I would not say drawing that card is good.
For the Apophis traps, I played 2 Apophis the Serpent, I
So
didn't.
what does this card do?
This card, you can special summon it as a trap monster, and then immediately set an Apophis trap from your deck, and you can use it the same turn, but you cannot set Apophis the Serpent. So the main thing you're setting is this bad boy wins me every game ever.
So this is
Apophis
Desiree, basically, right?
Yes, this card, when you activate
very
it,
good.
it summons itself, then negates up to the number of other continuous traps you control.
So it's minimum 1.
Well, it's minimum 1 if you summon with Apophis the Serpent. It doesn't count itself.
It doesn't count itself. Okay.
I also played one.
If this card counted itself, it would be so broken. People would be playing that in other decks if it counted itself. If you could just activate this to negate a spell card.
Of the brick embodiment of Apophis.
So why do you play this?
It's part of the combo. The idea is that
Surely
because
those
they play-
ratios should be swapped. No, I don't think so. I think there's even an argument to make Apophis the Serpent a one of, because this one's once per turn, this one is not. So essentially your goal is to set up, if you can, as many of these as possible. And if you draw one or two of them, as long as you can play, you can set up more of them and you're fine. Like you basically, as long as you can play the game, you can never have enough of this one. The other one is a one or two of, I think, because it's just like, it's very good going first to just draw it, but yeah.
This bad boy, Statue of Anguish pattern.
This card is crazy in this deck.
Embodiment of Apophis presents another pop in your end board, which means more interactions, which means your opponent has a harder time playing.
I don't like the quantity of trap monsters here. Okay, I have something to say about this, but I will let them explain first.
The best card in my combo, and the card I cooked this entire deck around, is Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
Woo! What does it do?
Lord of the Heavenly Prison says that you can reveal it to ensure that all your set cards cannot be destroyed while it's revealed. And then you can't use both its effects in the same turn. If a face-down card, like a set card, is activated, you can special summon it. Then if it was revealed, you may set another spell or trap directly from your deck, any spell or trap.
And combined with
Temple of the Kings, this means you can set any trap in your deck and immediately use it in that turn.
Lord of the Heavenly Prison with Temple of the Kings is very, very disgusting and dangerous. That is very powerful.
Nice.
Then I just played a bunch of hand traps. I played
Boo.
3 Nibiru,
Not based.
3 Ash, 3 Perulia, which actually did come up a few times in my games, 3 Veiler, 3 Ogre, and 3 Imperm.
See, I had a feeling it would end up like this. I had a feeling this deck would end up looking something like this. I don't know exactly how they're getting to the one of Lord yet. It must be a Gallant Granite thing, right? But yeah, I'll let him finish and then.
Nice. Any changes you would have made to the main deck?
Like I said, I'm considering cutting Temple of the Kings back to 1. The question really is like, how much do I respect Kashtira, and also how much do I
respect you?
Exactly, and also how much do I care if they get rid of it? Because if I'm already set up, I generally don't need it anymore. Mm-hmm. But it was nice to have the second one for sure.
Nice.
I also might cut Apophis the Swap Deity to 2. The third one did come up today and won me the game, and it can. In the grind game, you really want the third one, but you generally don't want to reach the grind game because this deck is actually more explosive than it appears.
Okay, wait, but one thing we haven't talked about is the only non-Apophis continuous trap in the main.
That's right. Statue of Anguish pattern is basically...
Buyout.
Is insane. It basically says that you can special summon it as an effect monster with 2500 defense. It's a big boy. It cannot be targeted, if I remember correctly, while I control another trap card that is a monster. Yes, this wasn't relevant today. And also, anytime you special a trap monster, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. And this isn't once per turn. So
it's a very, very powerful card. Like you just basically Anguish pattern turns all your other trap monsters into a pop. Like it's absurd.
This means that you can trigger this multiple times, even multiple times in a chain if you summon multiple trap monsters separately in a chain.
So guys, you see, this is Detonator, this is Desiree, We basically have Ryzeal Fiendsmith here.
Yeah, if you go first.
Okay. Nice. Let's go to the extra deck.
All right, let me just...
How many cards in the main?
43. It's 40 plus 3
43.
Purulia.
40 plus 3 Purulia.
I decided that my worst matchup was Ryzeal, which I did not actually play today.
Nice.
And I
That explains some things.
wanted to respect Ryzeal as much as possible, which means I need to draw the Imperm or the Slayer for the Detonator, which means I want Purulia.
Right.
But here's the thing, right? Even before we go into the extra deck, and I hope they show their combo as well, what we've done here is, from my perspective, both cool and also not cool in some other ways, but that's not their fault. I think what they've done is they've built this deck the correct way. From my perspective, this is the right way to do it, because unfortunately the way this deck is designed, it is kind of like it looks like a trap deck. It's trying to tell you, hey, I'm a trap deck, but it's not really a trap deck, because it just revolves around some essentially 1.5 card combos that get you to a full back row lineup. Like depending, I've seen different combos throughout the internet on what you can do with like a Man with the Mark or Anubis or whatever, and it's just like you can't even play this deck as a real trap deck, because if you draw, let's say you draw the Man with the Mark and you draw 3 or 4 trap cards with it, you never have space to set those trap cards. You don't have space for those trap cards, because the Odion cards themselves, they take up like 3 or 4 slots in your spell and trap zone. So what are you gonna do with those other trap cards? Like, you can't set them. You can't do anything with it. Like Temple of the Kings takes up 1 slot. Apophis the Serpent or whatever takes up a slot. Apophis the Swamp Deity, Statue of Anguish pattern. Like, if you have the setup that this deck is trying to go for, it gets you 4 back row without like anything else. So like you can't set any of your other trap cards. Like you cannot really play this deck as a trap deck, really. It's just gonna be basically a combo deck, in the sense that like you're trying to resolve your 1-card combo off of Odion or whatever. You're gonna set up a whole bunch of back row. It's just basically a combo deck, but instead of having your end board pieces in your extra deck, it's trap cards in your main deck.
Okay, so for the extra deck, we play the best boy, 2 Silhouette Rabbit.
Let's go. Got an ultimate rare, especially for Adao.
It's Rescue Ace. It's kind of like Rescue Ace, a little bit, just a little bit.
What does this card do?
This card, when it's links up...
Which, by the way, does not mean that it's bad. It's just not exactly what I expected when they announced the Odion cards. Like, it's not a bad concept at all. It just happens to be released at a time where continuous trap cards are particularly bad because of Ryzeal. And in general, the concept of having to rely on so many trap cards to get in your combo is not the greatest, because guess what? Those cards are not going to help you much going second into boards. Like, if let's say you hand trap Ryzeal twice and they still end on Detonator, if you have 1 or 2 of those trap cards in your hand, which is realistic, they will not help you immediately to beat any board.
You can set a continuous trap that summons itself as a monster from your deck, and then you can't use it as a link material that turn. Also, if you summon a trap monster, you can pop a spell or trap your opponent controls.
So it essentially can get to your Apophis stuff.
Yes, but more importantly, it gets to Statue of Anguish
It gets
pattern.
to Anguish, right. Because it's not searchable, except for Lord, I guess, but yeah.
We also play 1 Gallant Granite to search the Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
Okay.
And as part of the engine, we play 2...
I'm pretty sure the 1-card combo can get to both Granite and Rabbit. I'm pretty sure it's like, because Man with the Mark is a level 4, you're going to go ahead and grab, like, one of the Apophyses is a level 4 as well. So I'm pretty sure you just make Gallant Granite with Man with the Mark and one of the Apophis, and then you turn those into Silhouette Rabbit, and then you're Gucci, basically, right?
Ooh,
so you have like a bunch of your trap cards, you have Temple of the Kings, you have Lord of the Heavenly Prison, you have a Silhouette Rabbit, and that's like your setup.
Serpent Apophis. This card on your second turn, basically the third turn of the duel if you're first, just wins you the game immediately.
Does that exist? in Yugioh?
It existed for me today every round almost. This card,
What does it do? Why does it win the game?
you can contact fuse it with any two Apophis monsters. And then once per turn, it can set and up to 3 Apophis traps with different names from your graveyard. And if you summon a trap monster once per turn, it can destroy a card by just
So
like.
it's essentially
Anguish
like addition.
It's so weird you don't want to do the fusion turn one because it plays into Nip and the Granite line is just better. Can I just say that when they announced a fusion deck around Odion, I did not expect it to have that problem. I did not expect that we were sitting here, that we'd be sitting here and talk about how does this play around Nib the best. That is not what I expected or wanted from the Odion deck, but here we are.
Silhouette Rabbit.
It's like another Anguish pattern, but it's only once per turn.
Okay. So Silhouette Rabbit, like I said.
All the Apophis monsters are normal monsters, so we play 2 Link Spider and an SP so that we can remove some sticky things. Obviously, 2 of them are level 4, so we play a Redoer.
Oh, that's
came
funny.
up and was
That's
clutch
fun. That's fun. The fact that you can make a Redoer with a trap attached, I like that.
in my last game. It just won me the game. We play 1 Typhon for sticky situations. Typhon let me basically somewhat play around the Zeus for a little bit. I also play the Zeus, just in case. We play 1 very niche card, I might cut it, Constellar Ptolemy M7.
Oh yeah, Swamp
You
Deity
can make
is a
this
6.
with Circuit plus the level 6 Apophis, the Swamp Deity, and recycle your Lord of the Heavenly Prison, recycle hand traps. It's not bad, and obviously it can go into Zeus, and we play the 3 Ultimate Slayer targets.
Sick. Any changes to the extract?
I was really flip-flopping on...
Interesting that there's no Bucephalus for Ultimate Slayer, because I think that makes it a lot better into Link decks, but maybe they were just not trying to side it into Link decks.
the second Apophis, I might cut it for something else, but everything else I was really happy with.
Do you think like you were missing maybe a rank 4 that could like clutch a situation because there's so many that are good?
There are a ton that are good, but I think Redoer is just insane.
Okay, let's go to
The
The
side deck, and then I'll talk about the combo.
how many cards in the extra deck?
I think 15.
I hope so.
Okay, so my side deck is pretty much a war crime. First of all, for Malice, which I met twice today, I have...
It's every single side deck that I've been watching starts with this card right now. Every single one.
3 lands, yeah.
It's not just the fact that it is in every side deck. Everyone starts with it because it's just like, let's get the obvious thing out of the way.
I didn't draw it once against Malice.
We might as well, look, we could just save ourselves collectively a whole bunch of time in deck profiles at the moment if we just showed the other 12.
Good.
We play 3 Droll because I respected both Mermail and Tachyon FTK. I didn't want to lose to those decks, but I did lose to Mermail today.
Womp womp.
Yes. Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 Lightning Storm for Blue Eyes and other back row decks. 3 Ultimate Slayer because, like I said, I really respect Ryzeal. It's the toughest matchup because Detonator just destroys your back row. And the 3 Silver Bullets to get off of Lord of the Heavenly Prison post side.
Uh-oh.
For Malice, we have Imperial Iron Wall,
Dun, dun, dun.
which will stay permanently because Lord of the Heavenly Prison cannot banish it during the next end phase because cards cannot be banished. For almost everything else, Different Dimension Ground, and also for Ryzeal, Dimension
Man, can I just say, look, they probably built this deck the right way, okay? To me, this looks like the best way to play this deck, and it's not even close. But I don't like how this turned out. I don't like how they made a trap deck, and the deck is just, I have a 1-card combo that gets me to all of my traps. So I don't even play any other trap cards. I just play the normal 18 hand traps. I resolve my 1-card combo that gets me, instead of making a huge board, I make like 1 or 2 monsters and 4 back row. And then also I grab Lord of the Heavenly Prison. So the only other traps that I play in my deck is these. So like from a modern Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, they've done everything right. You know, this is the right way to play the deck. I guarantee you, it's just not how I wanted it to turn out. I feel like.
Okay, sick. You want to show us the combo?
Yes, sure.
So basically, what is it, like a one-card combo?
Yes, any of the starters basically gets you to the full combo, if uninterrupted, obviously, and then you can sometimes extend through it.
All right. So this is a world first combo. I think Jared was going to make a video about it, but hopefully we beat him to it.
Okay.
He doesn't know the goo yet.
So let's say you open Anubis, the last judge.
Yes.
You go Anubis, he adds man with the mark.
Man!
You normal the man, search the field spell. Activate the field spell, set, and Apophis trap. Now, it's technically a 1.5 because you need anything else to set. So
Yes.
let's say you have a prosperity, you set it. Now you can search a monster with Treasures of the Kings.
So that's a monster that mentions Temple of the Kings?
Yes.
Okay.
So I will get Circuit. You summon Circuit by banishing a level 10 that isn't Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
No, but we play...
Nibiru
10 or
is a
higher,
classic.
and searchable with Gallant Granite.
That's
if
true.
You need to.
Circuit will search Temple of the Kings.
Based.
You activate Temple. You flip Apophis the Serpent because you can use one trap per turn. The turn is set.
And that's because of Temple of the Kings.
Yep. You set Apophis the Swamp Deity. You overlay these two for Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite detaches Apophis to search for Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Then Apophis will search Embodiment of Apophis.
Yeah, and that's the graveyard effect of this card.
Yep.
When it's sent to grave. This is like plus infinity.
And then you link these two into the good boy Silhouette Rabbit. Silhouette Rabbit's effect activates. You set Statue of Anguish pattern. And that's pretty much it. You set...
Look, your standard combo leaves you with 5 back row. How are you going to play this as a actual trap deck?
Embodiment of Apophis. You...
It's just a combo deck that has to play like 8 traps in the main deck, or I mean slightly less, but like 6 or something.
Activate Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
The setup is really good here, though. The setup is really, really good. Don't get me wrong.
And you end on this. And
So essentially, once you activate any trap,
yes,
you can
let's say your opponent passes turn. A lot of the time, I would just flip this in its draw phase. It summons itself. Lord will trigger.
Okay, so for some of these, I don't remember what exactly the reason is, but some of these trap monsters, don't they still take up a space in your spell and trap zone? Wasn't that a thing? Am I tripping? I assume Statue of Anguish pattern is not that way. Not anymore. But was that something that they changed? Okay.
I will summon it.
Then at least I'm not tripping and I don't misremember. I thought that used to be that with all the cards that say it's also still a trap card. Was that the thing? Don't say old Josh Classic. I'm just trying to clarify the ruling here, all right?
And then I can set any trap for my deck. Game 1, I usually set the Verdict of Anubis.
And essentially, because of Temple of the Kings, you can activate it this turn.
Yes.
It can also be any silver bullet. It could be Judgment.
Okay, so what you have is you have Statue of Anguish pattern, which you can summon Embodiment of Apophis or Apophis. I don't know how you pronounce it. People make fun of me for it. I don't know. So that's going to pop a card. This Swamp Deity is going to summon out, pop another card, negate up to 2 cards, including spell cards. This summons, this negates a spell trap and Raigekis the opponent's board, and Silhouette Rabbit pops a spell trap card.
Guys, it's not like Labyrinth where it's only
Normal traps.
spells.
It could be any trap in the game.
Any trap in the game.
Yes, I was on Judgment for a very long time in the side, and I decided to cut it in the end.
So you got pop, you got like 3 more pops, you got like an Omni negate,
So
spell negate.
let's just look. We have this is a negate, which will trigger this to pop. This is a pop off of this. It can also trigger this to pop. And if this trap is anything, if this says anything, it's another interruption. Plus you have the Omni, the spell and trap negate, a Verdict of Anubis that the Raigeki is your opponent.
Incredible. Congratulations.
Which is not bad, honestly. It's a scary endboard to go up against. considering it's off of, once again, it's off of one card.
Doing it. We always believed in you. You're the GOAT.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to David and Tommy for lending me all the goddamn cards that came out 2 days ago. And shout out to Gal and everyone in the Discord server for helping me test the deck.
It's just essentially a solid deck, I think, from what I'm seeing. It's just, I wonder how, like, for example, when you're comboing, right? Of course, if you get, let's say you get Effect Veilered or Impermed or Ashed on the man with the mark, probably fine, as long as you, because there's some redundancy here. Like, if you already have the card you were going to search, you can just keep going at all times. There are certain things that are not as easy to replace, like Ghost Ogre on this and stuff like that. So it's just something that if this combo gets stopped, suddenly the rest of your hand is probably just a couple of hand traps, which is fine. But like, I don't think this is a combo. Like, essentially, this is a fine combo deck, I would say. You can't ogre the field. Oh, if they start with the man, it's protected. But what if they start with the thing and they want to search the man with it or something like that? But yeah, man protects temple. Okay, sure. The way I feel about this deck is that I think it's better than I expected because it's kind of like a combo / mid-range deck. That probably makes it more viable in the sense of modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks, right? In like the context of modern Yu-Gi-Oh, if this was just a slow ass trap deck, it probably wouldn't have worked very, very well. I don't really see exactly how this deck wins going second, because when you're looking at a mid-range / combo deck here, if you're evaluating it from that perspective, it's like, it doesn't have that many starters. It doesn't have that many. It doesn't play super well into boards, I don't think. And it's going to have a couple of trap cards in hand that won't help you yet. Of course, sometimes you can like search Temple of the Kings, and then activate Temple and then turn one of your trap cards into basically an extender, right? Like if you have Apophis the Serpent in hand, and then you can search Temple of the Kings, you can activate Apophis, and then you set the other trap. It can be activated immediately. Like, it gives you some extra pushes, but you have to be able to get to Temple of the Kings first, and your opponent has to not have Detonator. But at the end of the day, it also did have like, what, 15, 18 hand traps. They did go slightly over 40. So yeah, but it's not bad. It's not what I expected when the cards were announced, / it was like announced that it was going to be a trap deck, which it's not really, but that probably makes it better. So